Hello everyone, my name is Cookie King and I am coming back at you with another cast of a nice PVT sent in to me from a member of Reddit. This game was in fact sent in to me by Imaznation, who is now complaining Terran is even more imba, and Wynn seems appalled by that claim. Must not think it's true. And that's wrong. He does indeed think it is true, which must be why he is playing the race. Give him that extra edge that he can get. So, imaznation, throwing down a pylon at 9. Pretty typical, sending out that probe to figure out where Wynn has set up camp. Throwing down his supply depot. Getting some supplies, as it's very essential to have supply in order to play the game at all. Probe is not going to the correct spot. They actually spawn close air positions, which obviously close air means airplay is very likely. It's very powerful, as it's quicker to use air than to walk all the way around this curve. Although it's not a very far distance to travel, it's certainly shorter than spawning cross map positions, but it is farther than spawning close positions for obvious reasons. So I guess it'd be mid positions if you're talking in terms of distance, or close air, because it is actually described as close air. It's probe going to scout the Terran base last. The barracks has been thrown up, taking a gas. We have one gas for our Protoss player, which is going to finish right before his gateway does. SCV taking a couple chips off of the shields of the Protoss pylon. Got a pylon here to help detect any possible drops in the future. Obviously no drops are going to be happening during this part of the game, but you want to prepare yourself as best as you can. Cybernetics core going down as the second building for our Protoss player. Is constructing a zealot to deal with this SCV and to just have a zealot. Zealots are pretty good units. But this probe is going to chase away the SCV before it even manages to get to the health of the pylon. Pylon shields are going to recharge. This Marine hunting down the probe. Probe does die. It does manage to kill that probe. Rather unfortunate. Warp gate is started. We might be seeing, I don't know, maybe some kind of 4-gate. He has yet to throw down his expansion, so I'm going to guess that he's going for some early pressure. He's chronoing out a zealot. A second barracks is being created by our Terran player. Got a tech lab making some marauders. I guess he's thinking stalkers are a possibility, which is very true. Stalkers are a very common early game unit, so he's constructing those marauders to be safe against them. Command center being built inside the base to later be lifted off, most likely to here. I don't know, maybe he'll feel a bit crazy and send it across the map or over the rocks into here, but I find that highly unlikely. Marines running away, knowing it cannot take on a zealot by itself. It cannot take on the zealot or the stalker by itself. It could take on the zealot by kiting, but the stalker has almost 4 times the HP of the marine. Looks like Wynn is going to push out to the watchtower with his marines. 2 marines, 2 marauders. The zealot's probably gonna die. Yep, he got hit by the concussive shells, so no chance of running for him. And he dies with only dealing a minimal amount of damage. Bunker being thrown down to protect the eventual second base that will come up by Wynn. Almost done there. 3 warp gates just warped in. Warping in a couple of stalkers and a zealot. And these 3 stalkers and the zealot should, with the high ground advantage, be able to... more marauder reinforcements are coming in, but it looks like that's most of the reinforcements. It's going to be a while for these guys to meet up, and Wynn has actually opted to retreat. Going to take these guys back to the watchtower. He's decided not to put on any pressure that early. Got an observer coming out for imaznation. There's the expansion at 7 minutes. Protoss has decided to take a second base. Worker count, our Protoss is in the lead with 27 compared to 21 SCVs. This expansion, once it got finished being turned into an orbital, is going to fly down here, land there, probably drop a mule. Imaznation is setting up some pylons to have some power on the low ground so we can construct some buildings. Stim, almost completed. Added on 3 more barracks for the Terran player, which is spotted by imaznation's observer. So imaznation will be expecting the possibility of a lot of infantry coming in. He already knows from when tried to push on his base, he saw quite a few marauders, quite a few marines, and it looks like he might be pushing out again. Imaznation does slightly see those units moving out, but he didn't see the full force. So this might come as a bit of a surprise, but he does have a couple sentries. Some nice force fields can help him out there. This observer getting a little late to the party and missing all of these units. Warps in another zealot. We do have an immortal on the field. Immortals do quite a bit of damage, especially against armored units, which the marauders are. There's some nice force fields. Force fields trapping a couple of units, getting some good kills. A nice kind of force field with that warp in. The marine does get around. It was trapped for a little bit. Could have been a dangerous spot. Imaznation successfully holds up that push quite well, not taking very many losses. And Wynn is forced to retreat after having stemmed, and he does not yet have a starport out, so there aren't going to be any medevacs for quite a while still. Combat shield being researched for the Marines. And it's looking pretty good for a Protoss. He's starting to mine on his 3rd. Supply block now and just got unblocked, which is good. Keeping those probes in production. Currently at 39 probes with 33 SCVs, so pretty close on the harvester count, especially when you factor in mules. Another observer is being chronoed out. Got charge. Charge is very good against marauders and marines. It allows your zealots to just kind of cut through the enemy. A forge here would be nice, getting +1 armor, +1 ground armor for all the Protoss units is a very good strategy to use with charge, as the zealots are able to obviously tank more damage before they die. So that's always good. Upgrades are good. I like upgrades. And it looks like our Terran has decided to go the upgrade route. Or rather, decided to start getting some upgrades now. Most players usually go the upgrade route when you progress later into the game. Got an observer just chilling over here. Gonna fly through the base, see what's what. Gonna see this double engineering bay. Finally got that starport up. Gonna see some medevacs being constructed. But no, never mind. False alarm. Thought imaznation was gonna move out, but it turns out he is not going to do that quite yet. I mean, a lot of gateways. There's that forge coming down finally. We have quite a few gateways. We're up to, what, 4, 5, 6, with a 7th gateway being constructed. 6 warp ends every half minute or so is pretty good. Got an immortal. This is an interesting wall off. Not the best for his immortals, which are gonna have to walk all the way around. Possibly, I don't know. He might be able to get through. Can't really tell right now, but it would be unfortunate if the immortal had to walk all the way around. Starting chrono up, there's that +1 ground armor. Rocks got cleared out. Looks like our Protoss is gonna take out, or is opting to take the gold for his 3rd base, as opposed to this easier to protect base back here. The observer flying back home. 3rd command center being built for the Terran player win could be flown either here or here if he decided to take his army and destroy those rocks. And it looks like it's instead going to be flown back to the back base. Imaznation does indeed take the gold versus third base. Got a couple of observers. By a couple, I mean this observer. Some pylons. No real forward pylons right now. Closest pylon is right here. Closest one to Blue's base. And it looks like an engagement's going to go down. Imaznation getting caught slightly off guard, but some nice force fields are going to trap most of the army of Wind. And those charge lots are just going to cut through, and though most of them are dancing around, it looks like Imaznation is easily going to clean up this army. No problem. Easy peasy. Tons of zealots left. Tons of sentries with lots of force fields. 2 immortals didn't even get touched. Still got only a couple stalkers, but it's enough. As the only flying units were medevacs, and medevacs don't really do too much damage. But it looks like Imaznation has opted to retreat despite the fact, and that's probably because this attack is going on in his main. A really good counterattack decision by Win to force Imaznation to retreat. He should probably pick up his units, yep, and fly away. Good choice there. So that counterattack prevented Imaznation from just charging into his base. Gives Win some more time to replenish his army before this entire army goes in, and right now it probably could wipe him out with Imaznation still having about a 50 food lead. Still no forward pylons, but you know, that's okay. Most of the army's right here. Got those bunkers. One of the bunkers doesn't have any units in it. These front units are going to get cut down. There are some force fields blocking the ramps to prevent reinforcements coming down, but the bunker and the superior amount of units is not going to go in Imaznation's favor. Ground Armor 2 is being researched before any attack upgrades. And a couple gateways. This is almost a complete wall off, which is interesting. You don't really need a wall off against Terran as they don't have any melee units, but you know, it does slow them down a bit, I guess. All these pylons watching. He's even got some High Templars to feed back any medevacs that come in for drops. Pretty smart play. A Warp Prism just kind of chilling over here to be used in the future. There are those medevacs going out for a drop, but the main army of Imaznation is at the front of the base, and nice force fields cut off half the army. Looks like quite a few of Wind's units are going to die. Bunkers are not being repaired. Bunkers do die. No storms going down. He does not actually have storm researched yet. Then there's a drop in the main base. Got a feedback on the medevac, but it was not enough to kill the medevac. But the medevac is no longer able to charge until it regains yellow energy. This attack gets pushed back as Imaznation retreats to try and stop this attack in the main. Doesn't want this to keep going on unchecked. These zealots are running the wrong way. Archon's going to try and take him on all by himself and not work out too well. But Imaznation has opted to simply attack the base of Wind. So, somewhat of a base trade situation. However, the medevacs have no health. We have some charge lots, and they decide to pick up. There's even an SCV in there. Interesting choice. I guess it'd be able to heal the medevacs. Getting some stalkers warped in to snipe down those medevacs. This small little attack force is going to just plow through Wind's base. These medevacs are probably... Ooh, they get away. But Wind calls the GG, and that is the end of the game. Not much he would have been able to do. Take out 3 Immortals, an Archon, a couple Stalkers. So that's it. Good game on Imaznation's part. Good game on both players' part. I don't believe Imaznation even knew about this base. So had Imaznation waited to move out, he could have been behind. But again, he did have this gold base already. It was already up. Had been up for a while. Gold bases obviously get you more money than blue. So I think Imaznation was in a pretty good place all game. If you liked my cast, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'd be honored if you subscribe to my channel. It would make me very happy. If you'd like me to cast a game for you, feel free to email me. I'll cast anything you give me. Might take me a couple days to get to your replay, as currently right now, at least, I have a lot of replays to go through. But I promise I'll get to your replay eventually. Send me a couple if you want. I can only promise I'll do one right now, but whenever I have free time, I'll go back, look at a couple of the extra replays you got, and maybe cast one. So once again, my email is actually cookiekingsc@gmail.com. So shoot me an email there with your replay as an attachment, and I'll get it casted for you, and we can all have a great time. So peace out, guys. Have a good one, and keep watching my videos and subscribe.